Hey, just editing this video as we speak, but in this video, the four of us talk about and vote on as a group our top five classic Disney animated movies. So from the year 2000, not inclusive, back. 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing the same thing, but on the modern Disney animated movies. So from the year 2000 forward to present. Like this video you're about to see, if you'd like to have your say on the movies that we're bringing to the table and vote on top five, join us on the 28th of May, starting roughly around 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, join in the fun. But until then, enjoy the video. Now, nonsense. Oh, I clicked the right one. Excellent. Hello and welcome back. My name is Kamilian. I'm your host, and I have here two of my friends, and I'm pretty sure a poorly animated steamboat conductor. I don't know who is who, but I do know their names. In no particular order, we have Matt, Tegan, and Rem.
Hello!
Yo.
And tonight, we are going to be debating on a top five list of animated Disney classic movies. Classic animated Disney movies. That's the order. We're each going to we've each brought a couple of movies ourselves. I've brought it up for myself to make sure no one brings the same as someone else. So there's some of our favorites. We're going to find, with your help, a top five.
Yes!
So,
A questionable top five.
a questionable top five.
There will
Top
be
five
five
with an
movies.
asterisk.
There will be five movies.
So,
their
to
quality
kick
will
it
be-
off, Matt, would you like to kick us off?
Wait,
I always go first.
No, you don't. I went first.
I said you first this time because when I did the rolling to see who was doing what, you happened to get the highest number. That's all.
Let me just refresh myself on what my number one movie was.
Oh my god.
Tegan, kick us off.
No, I went my first last time.
Mitch, kick us off.
No.
I have a list. So my number one movie, and partially not entirely because I just rewatched it recently, my number one classic animated Disney movie is Hercules. It has obviously the classic story, like so many of the Disney movies, that seems to be an ongoing theme of what I pick. Like they're not original Disney creations, but they've been Disneyfied in such a way that it
That is now wildly inaccurate to the original story.
yes, it's wildly inaccurate to the original story, but it has enough stuff. It's got some big voice name actors in there, especially for the time of the movie. That was kind of unusual, honestly. Yeah, it does. It was. Sorry. Like every movie now, it's all about getting those AAA, the big movie stars, doing the voice acting for it.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
So, other than Danny DeVito, who were the other big name actors in it, Matt?
I can't think. There's a few of them. I want to say John Goodman, but I'm
It's
getting that.
not John Goodman. It's Rick.
You
Thorne.
had wait, so you said excluding who? Danny DeVito. Is that what you said?
Excluding Danny DeVito. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had what's his face? Mitch. A piece of candy. What's his name?
Really?
James Woods.
Yes.
All I remember was a piece of candy from
I
freaking
wanted
Family
to
Guy.
see. I wanted to see if Matt could name anyone other than Danny
I was
DeVito.
googling it.
Sorry,
Rick
Tegan.
Thorne. Rick
That's
Thorne played.
That's enough big name actors that
They had-
aren't voice actors.
They
Like,
had Rick Thorne. He played
Yes,
Zeus.
he played Zeus.
Did an awesome job.
Yes, he did a very good job.
No, again,
just
had its share of inappropriate humor for kids.
It actually probably was one of the ones that went the most with
Yeah,
it too.
absolutely.
I just love Scar as a rug.
Yep.
Throwing back
It-
to Zazu going, he'd make a very handsome throne rug.
And even the throwaway joke. 2 words. I am retired. When as a kid, that made no sense, and I was thinking, oh, but that's 3 words. Like maybe that was a joke. But it's because I am in Greek is 1 word.
I was about to say, I actually have a meme that I happened to scroll, doom scroll past the other day,
Yeah.
which is that whole thing. And the last comment is, "Ladies and gentlemen, I present Disney."
Yeah. It's an awesome movie. It's as a kid, it was great because it had the action, it had the magic, the monsters, all that sort of stuff. As an adult, like watched it with the kids, it still drew our daughter's attention into it. Like she was still engaged with it, and for a movie of that age to still engage a kid, in 2023, it stands a test of time. Like,
Yeah, she's not been engaged with some of the other classic movies because they're not
relevant.
They're not relevant. They're not fast paced enough. They're just not,
I get you.
The montage scene, the classic for any superhero movie, I love it. And again, it was funny. It hit a lot of the tropes for like a fantasy hero film movie. Including like the self-sacrifice elements and all the bits and pieces. Had all the standard tropes in it, and it wasn't tacky at the same time. Like, it's watching it as an adult, like, okay, it's a Disney kids movie. Of course, it has elements of tackiness to it, but watching it as an adult, it's still you're like, come on, dude, do it. Like, you're still cheering for the characters, which is again, it's much harder to do as an adult on a movie that's over 25 years old. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and just for the record, I should mention, I did my best to Google like a definitive line on where to draw the line, like on classic movies versus modern animated movies.
yeah.
And it was tough. There was there was people comparing, what makes the classic movies or the modern movies better than the other. There's tons of those topics everywhere. However, I only found one real thing which had a definitive line, and that was an IMDb list of all the the top, I think, 30 or top 25 modern Disney movies. The earliest movie in that modern animated Disney list was from the year 2000.
Yeah.
Therefore, we have drawn the line at the year 2000. So all the movies we're presenting tonight are prior to the year 2000.
Yeah.
These are all movies we watched as kids that we're all showing you how old we are.
This is what we grew up with, yes.
But
Cool.
these are the movies we grew up with. These are the classic Disney movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even without that list, like even before that restriction was put in place, or I knew about that restriction, Hercules was still one of my top three. Like,
Pretty sure there's a good handful of these which were actually made before even we were born.
I watched Wood and Stone again the other night.
Looking at the requested movie list. Anyway,
Where was
does anyone have anything negative to say or combative for Matt on Hercules?
No, look, I loved Hercules. It was one of my
The
favorites.
actual movie was great. Widely inaccurate for anything religious for the actual deities.
Oh, absolutely.
They had Kronos as a blundering buffoon for a start.
Every time Hera came on screen, I'm just like, really?
But it's
Disney.
Yeah.
Anyone who's
That bitch
criticizing
tries to kill him.
Disney movies on accuracy is like,
Have
I get it, but at the same point in time, it's a kid's movie. Calm your farm. I
Well, you
guarantee
don't
not
really
one kid is going, that's not right, that's incorrect.
Well, Joey
Right.
did, but he's a smart ass.
Yeah, if you look into it, Hades was the most chill guy you'd ever meet.
I like the way they portrayed him, though.
Oh yeah,
I
He
really
was
do.
That's the
absolutely
thing.
glorious.
The actual character they had in it, very fun character. Just nothing like the actual religious character.
Oh,
Which, fair
dear.
enough.
I've seen other content paint Hades. So a lot of stuff paints Hades as the devil, like in the simplest form.
Which is very wrong.
Yeah, but it's
People are ignorant.
yeah, absolutely. And I've seen some great. There's a great book series where one of the characters actually meets Hades, and he's like, it's basically like the realization that he's not a bad guy. He has a job to do, and that job is to protect the underworld, to look after the underworld, to make sure the spirits stay within the underworld. Like, that is his job. Like, just like every other god has their purpose, that's his. Like, He's not actually
Yeah.
evil. It just
Right.
obviously, tied to death, it gets portrayed in a very.
He wasn't banished there or anything.
Ah.
Yeah.
No, and
It's-
if you look into it, he's even had people get down to hell and he's gone, sweet, if you want to take your loved one, take him. The only rule is that there's a bit of a magic thing. You can't look back on the way up. And people inevitably screw it up.
Gus. The same could be said for Ursula. She only, from The Little Mermaid, she only enslaves those who don't follow her rules. But she cheats.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah,
Anyway,
she's a bit more of the twisted cheeks.
Anyway, we've gone off topic now.
Yep.
yep.
That's
For the sake of time.
Hercules.
Yeah, for the sake of
And
time. So we have
Hercules.
Hercules as our first entry. I'll jump in
Yeah.
second with my number one pick. And that is Aladdin.
That's you brought me in line, you motherfucker.
That's why you didn't get it. Was my number one.
Yeah.
Aladdin is my all-time favorite Disney movie. Period. I was so happy that you didn't put this as your number one because I really wanted to talk about this. I love it. It was the thing that I watched on repeat. I don't watch a lot of movies on repeat. Barely ever. The fact that I have a son now, just that we've been watching Cars non-stop. But when I was a kid, this was the movie that I put on back to back. Robin Williams was, and to this day is fantastic. He sets up that whole movie. He is that whole movie. The music, the emotion, just the entire drive of the story is phenomenal. Absolutely love it. And there's not many Disney movies. I say not many, but watch me change my tune later. Where I enjoy pretty much every single song from that movie. And when they re-released it in 4K, beautiful. But yeah, no, I'll keep it short and sweet. But that's Aladdin.
Yeah, I love that movie. Again, the storyline, the characters, everything in it, like it ticks the boxes. There's no character that has a speech that you sit there and go, like there's just no one. Whether it's a sultan, whether it's Scripar, whether it's
Iago.
Iago, it doesn't matter which character it is. Every character in that movie feels like they have a place there. Even the random fucking guards, like the guards that don't have a name, they still have character to them.
I believe the actor who plays Razul, like the head guard, I believe he plays the centaur in Hercules.
They even look similar in face, actually, now that you've said that.
Well, it's the classic Disney chin with that one singular circular kind of hair on that chin.
Oh, he's got facial hair. He's evil.
We did skip over a bit of a controversial element in Hercules, actually, with that scene and what he was intending to do.
I don't know what you're talking. Okay, so Aladdin.
I mean, you think
But you would not get away with that today. They would not get away
They
with
literally
that.
have in the last month.
When?
Bowser.
Silence.
Bowser and Peach.
We might not be on the same page.
Yeah, no. So the undertones in Mario are all that the loving marriage.
He was.
I know where you're going, and I was trying to steer away from.
Whereas the innuendo, the very, very not subtly hinted thing of that centaur is far less. Far less a different.
I was trying to, change the.
The key difference being consent. Peach could have said no.
Peach did say no.
That's right.
Anyway, cool. So,
moving swiftly along.
So Aladdin. Anything else to add on that?
I
Was
like
very
that.
good.
I'm about to say, I feel like our number ones are going to be pretty much kind of, we like this one. And as we go along, sort of, really? That's what you're bringing to the table for us to vote on?
I like Aladdin. I'm not surprised it's your number one. Like, I've known you long enough to know that it's your number one. I liked it as a kid, but it wasn't my favorite. Like, I didn't have it on repeat and stuff like that. It was,
So for me to really enjoy a movie, like really enjoy it, it's got to hit me on an emotional level, which not a lot of movies end up doing. If it's just like a normal action flick, I'll watch it maybe once every 2-3 years. If it hits me right in the feels, I'll watch it a lot more often.
Fair enough.
I just want to say though, the overarching story tone, the overarching story of Aladdin is very much about catfishing.
yeah.
Yeah, but don't. You can pull any Disney movie apart like that. Don't pull at the threads. You tell me this every stream.
It's the nature of anything that old is just like, again, same thing Tegan said. Like, if they put that Hercules movies with that scene out now, it would be fucking crucified. Like,
Cancelled.
Yeah, how dare you insinuate the lack of consent in that scene?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
And moving away from the politics, who's going next, Mitch or Tegan? Or are we keeping this in roll order? Tegan, you're up.
My number one, and same as Kami, even when we open up to modern, non-animated, all of the Disney, my favourite is Beauty and the Beast. You want to talk political correctness there?
Oh, yeah. And dark scenes.
A few. He literally kidnapped her.
Yeah, and when you think about the fact that literally everything in the castle's come to life, and what's the area that she should not go absolutely covered in?
Yeah.
There's again, let's say
promoting murder.
I loved Beauty and the Beast because for me, like I was very, very young when I first watched it. It came out 93, something like that. So I was literally like 6 or 7 years old when this movie came out. It was a movie I had on repeat. What I loved about it was just that delve into the fantasy world. Like, you know, you're talking about, you know, medieval peasanty France and just the magicalness of the creatures coming to life. And yeah, there's only one thing about the movie that annoys me. Matt knows what I'm going to say. The Beast was better looking as a beast than a person.
That is true.
If anybody ever wondered, like, there we go.
No, but I like it because it's I don't, and I loved Gaston. He was just the best kind of bad guy. He was just a guy. Like, he wasn't, you know, Jafar with a magical wand and powers and all this shit. He was just a dude with a bad attitude and didn't like to be told the word no. So he was kind of legitimately scary as well.
He's probably the most relatable villain out of every Disney movie ever.
Yeah, because he was real.
He has, in modern day times where we can see things frame by frame, he's the sole purpose as to why we don't pause a Disney movie.
He's what?
The sole reason why we don't pause a Disney movie. That one frame of him stretching with a face.
I've seen that movie come around. But yeah, no, for me, and of course, I've always loved books from a very young age. So any love story where the main present for the girl is a fucking library, yeah, count me in. I'm done. I'm good. Okay, who didn't like Beauty and the Beast?
Now, Beauty and the Beast, when I was younger, I wasn't a huge fan of, purely because me being a young boy, below the age of 10, it was very much a stereotypical, nah, that's a girl's movie, I don't want to watch it. Right? Me as an adult now, being the tiniest bit more mature, arguably, a little bit. I love it. Absolutely love that movie.
That's the funny thing. When I was a kid, we went off to a camp at one point, a couple of mates and myself. I think it was for some Christian youth thing that we did, but we only did it to hang out together. Anyway, the girls in that camp thing got into a room together, started watching Beauty and the Beast. And I'll admit I was the only guy who went in and just went, "Oh, sweet, Disney," and sat down without thinking another thing. Yay, autism brain.
Oh dear. Rightio.
I remember going to school and wanting to play like Beauty and the Beast, and I would have been in like kinder year 1, and I had this one friend, and she always had to be Belle, and she made me be one of the triplets, and it used to piss me off every time. But I'm as meek as I was back then, so I'd never stick up to myself.
Beauty in the case of Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah.
I actually saw a great meme about it the other day, and it's like I never, as a kid, I never got my Lumiere, loved the Feather Duster so much, and then it just shows a snippet after they're all transferred back, and it's like this mage just bending over, and he's like, "Yep, I get it now."
Oh, Lumiere, I've been burnt by you before.
Again, it's that old school classic Disney thing. Great characters, great musical.
They had some really great voice actors. So Jerry Orbach, who played Lumiere, did a fantastic job. Angela Lansbury, of course. And apparently she didn't want to sing the song. She didn't want to sing Tales All This Time. She tried to convince them to get a professional singer to come in, and they were really adamant that, no, we want you to do it. And how grateful are we that they got her to do it. Because she did an amazing
very much
job.
prefer her version
Oh,
over
God, yeah.
Yeah.
And goosebumps. It does give me goosebumps.
every time.
And just the detail, like when you're talking about pieces of furniture walking around, like as Matt said before with Aladdin, every character had something, like even the stove. Like I can picture his face so clearly and picture who he is, and he's only in the scene very briefly. I cook and I slave all day long, but for what? And you can see him, you know him, so...
Yeah. Now, see, with all the live action remakes, which I'm not going to go into now, the trailers, the first teaser trailer for each and every single one, I've only had goosebumps for 2 of them. One of them far more so than the other. Number 2 was The Lion King, because it's The Lion King, and I had, kind of goosebumps. Number 1, without a shadow of a doubt, was Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I didn't get any chills for Aladdin. I liked that movie, but I'm not going to go into that. The slow fade ins and outs of an empty castle with those the melody slowly building up and fading away. Watch the trailer, the announcement or the teaser trailer for Beauty and the Beast, the live action. It's just anyway.
But the music in Beauty and the Beast as well. It's very well done.
Yeah.
Very recognizable, very well done.
Yep.
And it does. Every time I hear it, I just get this childhood nostalgia. Anyway, somebody else's turn.
I still laugh at the reason he got cursed. Like, someone rocks up at your doorstep, you know they'll come in and say, like, that's what she did because you said no. What would happen if you had said yes? Like,
Not just that, when you take into account the age that is shown at in the thing, which is actually closer to the actual age he would have been in the book, I believe, it was a little kid telling a lady, "I'm sorry, you can't stay here tonight."
That's true.
Anyway, that's not we could go on forever. But for now, Mitch, what was your number 1?
I will freely admit, this and my number 2, I've literally flipped coins on it to see which one came out number 1 because they're both top of my list.
That is fair. So what was successful?
The one that was successful was The Sword and the Stone.
Oh, okay.
It is my childhood. As Ian watched Aladdin almost religiously, The Sword and the Stone was essentially the one that I saw from my parents, the one that I watched when I went over to my grandparents for Christmas and stuff like that.
you can take a movie with you and that's what you took.
Well, no, it was the movie that they had because, it's from 1960 something.
Yeah.
63.
Fair enough, 62.
Oh.
And the animation was still amazing. The
Technicolor Studios.
Yeah, the character of
has balls, man.
Yeah, but still damn good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Colorization, the actual motion, like everything worked really well, and it was honestly just fun.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, you talk about the animation and everything in it. Like, that movie is 6 years old, and if there's some signs in there of the age, but it still stands up as far as a piece of animation. That said, the movie, I really didn't love it. Like, it just, we put it on again the other night. It just sort of wandered. Like, it didn't, for me, it didn't have that. We talk about Aladdin, talk about Beauty and the Beast, where there's like really good flowing storyline. It just sort of meandered around for like an hour and a half for me.
But I feel like a lot of us growing up, like at our age now, I feel like an accurate spirit animal for most of us is Merlin. Just when he's screaming at I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Madam Mim. I'm not sure, but he's just screaming, "I'm a horrible, grumpy, grouchy old man."
Yeah.
How was that not our spirit animal?
I mean, that's my tagline, man.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that Merlin literally was not picking Arthur because it's Arthur. It was just, you're an orphan, essentially you're going to do, I'm going to use you because I am too tired and old for this, and I want to go on a damn holiday.
He also didn't know who was going to arrive. He just knew someone was going to arrive.
I think someone scrawny was going to arrive.
Dear.
Yeah, a good movie, especially for its time. I remember being in love with, like the early parts of it where they transform into a fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the squirrel and stuff.
Into a fish, into a squirrel, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I will freely admit that I used to have a different number one, but I accidentally had chosen one from Warner Brothers instead of from Disney. So
I
that
did
kind
that
of
like
just went.
3 times.
Yeah.
Tammy kept saying that's not Disney. That's not Disney. I'm like, really?
What's this?
When we were picking our list, I kept picking
Oh, yeah.
different non-Disney ones by accident.
I just assume Disney owns everything now.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Not far off. Alrighty.
Yeah, they are getting closer.
So somehow, even with the intro, we're actually a little bit ahead of time in terms of how long we've been streaming for, which is good. We're back ahead of time. In terms of time on the clock, we're still about 4 minutes behind, but we're doing good. So Matt,
Awesome.
what is your number 2?
My number 2, and it's less of a childhood thing and more of watching it with my kids and watching it more as an adult, is A Little Mermaid.
Wow, you guys did not discuss your lists, huh?
I did not.
We promised we weren't going to.
Yeah.
Wow, I wouldn't have been mad if you had, but wow, that's awesome.
Really? Little Mermaid. Go on, tell us why.
So
That's genuinely surprises me.
It did surprise me too when you said it
the
through.
thing I like about it. So with Aladdin as a love story, it's all about trying to change himself to really be somebody else. Whereas with The Little Mermaid, she physically changes herself with Ursula, but it's literally so that she can be with him. Like, it's not her changing her personality or her changing everything about herself. Like, it's physical change. It's not.
She physically changes into a different species.
It's not about changing who she is.
This has already happened in 3 of the previous movies we've mentioned.
But it's not about changing who she is as a person.
Only because she doesn't know what the humans' expectations are.
Plus, it's got Sebastian in it as the best character I've ever seen.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love The Little Mermaid.
Under the Sea is fantastic.
Under the Sea is an awesome piece. Kiss the Girl. It's funny as
the amount of double entendres that are hidden in the movie as well.
Oh God, yes. Sebastian with the chef is beautiful. I love that. I love that whole scene. But it's funny though. You think about it, like obviously Ariel can hear the animals talking and singing and stuff when they're out on the little boat ride, and all Eric would be able to hear is just all the animals going fucking mental.
Yeah. You never thought about that, Ian?
No, it's just the imagery Look at this picture, a frog on my shoulder with the full Disney, funnel kind of lips
Disney
opening up,
vibe.
just blah, blah, in my ear.
Not just that, remember, I believe the seagull even has a few lines in that one.
Yeah.
Has anyone actually heard a seagull song in real life? Dear God, it's horrible.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is the least romantic thing I can think of.
So yeah, it's literally just what a romantic boat ride.
Again, like it's another old school Disney movie. It's all the tropes. It's all about the love story. The villains, but again, the characters are done really well.
Ursula. Do you know?
Ursula is just awesome.
Do you know that Ursula's the visualization of Ursula's character is based on an old school drag queen?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
How
amazing.
awesome is that?
Oh dear. But
And obviously, with Little Mermaid being a hot topic thing at the moment, with the live action coming, I'm indifferent about the live action, but I've been indifferent about every live action movie. It actually has nothing to do with the controversy, though. I could not give less of a fuck.
I don't think any one of the four of us cared about that.
I want to actually say the way that they've done her hair with the dreadlocks,
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Like that is,
And I like the way it's not a shell; it's part of the body.
yeah.
It's scales now instead of a shell bra. I like that too.
Yeah, they modernized. I don't want to go down this route too much, but they modernized her like they modernized Jasmine, right? In the animation for Aladdin, Jasmine is in a two-piece, right? Essentially a bra-like top and pants. Whereas in the live action, she's in a one-piece kind of suit, but the midriff component of that is skin colored. But you can still tell that it's one complete piece.
Yeah.
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 No, The Little Mermaid, as with Hercules, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Sword and Stone. I mean, all of these movies, I believe, the surface level, you can pick them apart and go, that won't stand up today, that can't be shown, all of this stuff. But the actual message that I would argue kids get from these things, which is what I take from every single one of the movies you've mentioned so far, is it is not what's on the quite literally a line from Aladdin. It's not what's on the outside; it's what's on the inside that counts.
Yeah.
I still go with the be yourself.
Be yourself. Yeah. Dear. But anyway, awesome. Yeah, again, for me, Little Mermaid, when I was growing up, fell in the same category as Beauty and the Beast. Arguably further down that barrel for me because of what it was. I just never really watched it until I was in my late teens, really.
Oh, it was definitely a girls' movie as a kid growing up. Like, and that's just not a statement of the movie. It's literally how it was during us growing up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I watched so many girls' movies growing up.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, as I said,
Well,
with this brain, I didn't see. Oh yeah, this is meant to be for that, but I like it.
Yeah, that's it. It is a good movie. Awesome.
Shivers. It's okay.
You dropped your wet palette.
Yeah, can you grab that? Thanks. We're good.
So, because we're still a little bit ahead of time, anything else anyone wants to say on The Little Mermaid?
Honestly, really enjoyed it. Even the sequels were still fun, even though they were direct to VHS.
I did not like it.
The sequel.
I've only ever liked
liked
3 sequels. To my current recollection, 3 sequels are the only ones that I've actually liked for Disney.
Return of Jafar, Lion King 3. Lion King 3 was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Lion King 3 was the fucking tits.
It's okay. But Return of Jafar, Aladdin 3, and Lion King 2.
Oh, you ranked
Prince one of the Tarzan ones.
Yeah, I ranked Prince of Thieves. King of Thieves.
King of Thieves. It was King of Thieves.
Aladdin the King of Thieves, yeah. Sorry, Mitch, I cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying I'm surprised that kid Tarzan movies didn't get you at all.
God no.
Fair enough.
No, thank you.
Yeah, King of Thieves.
King of Thieves. Yep.
Oh,
I
love
have them all
Return
on
of
disc.
Jafar.
Return of Jafar
I
was
love
good.
Return of Jafar. And again, it was a Disney spin on the Twisted Wishes sort of thing.
Cool. Alrighty, so my number 2, the back of all this is The Lion King. I feel like someone was going to bring this to the table at some point.
When you say classic Disney, as if Lion King is not like one of the first
exactly.
ones.
I feel like we're probably going to move through this one pretty quickly. It's
Early Hamlet.
I feel
So
like
much innuendo.
sorry.
So much innuendo.
Yeah, but I feel like as a species, this is when people argue about their favorite Disney movie, this ends up being the consensus like number 1.
I don't think I have ever met anyone who was like, I didn't really like The Lion King.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
The
don't
Lion
need that
King.
sort of negativity
in your life.
The Lion King is brilliant from start to finish, and I remember going back to the cinema and watching it in 3D when it came out for like a couple of weeks years ago, and I had a absolutely shocker of a month. I think I just left my girlfriend at the time. Work was just nasty. Went to see that, and just in the first song, I was in tears. Love this movie. It is extremely emotional. I would argue more emotional than Aladdin.
Yeah, I agree.
Like on a completely different scale. I still prefer Aladdin just for personal reasons, but the Lion King movie as a whole is phenomenal. And I, for one, just cannot picture anyone else, anyone
so
ever playing
good.
Mufasa.
It's so good. It's now one of the biggest, one of the huge theater productions.
Broadway.
Broadway. Thank you. Sorry.
Same with Aladdin.
That was excellent the way they did convert it, but to the movie itself and for its time, as you were saying before, I can't remember which movie you were talking about, Aladdin maybe. It's one of those rare Disney movies where there is not one song that I do not like. I love all of the music. I love how they changed the music, but they still stayed quite respectful to the culture they were displaying as well. I thought it was very well done. I actually went to see it with my auntie and my cousins, and I was a little bit older when that one came out. So my cousins were really little, and I was sort of, like Joey's age, hitting the teen years. And her and I just sat there, held hands, and bawled, just absolutely blubbered. And we all know which scene I'm talking about. But I thought it had a really good mix.
It's when you thought Pumbaa was going to die right at the end, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought it had a really good mix of some really genuine themes and issues about life in general and the circle of life, not to be too on the nose about it. But it also had a lot of really fun elements as well. And I mean, Rowan Atkinson, hello.
Yeah. I think that one of the best lines in the movie is, the past is in the past. You can run from it or you can learn from it.
Learn from it. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And every time I see Pumbaa, Timon and teenage Simba, I just get this image of these teenage frat boys just partying it up. And I just love
that
it.
was essentially it.
The thing, again, it's that old school Disney thing. It's something that doesn't happen often anymore. Like, but you go from like a beautiful scene, like, a deep, meaningful scene like that one, to they call me Mr. Pitt. Yeah, you go from those two extremes, but it's, again, you compare it to something like, Ragnarok or Love and Thunder, where they try and have serious undertones and they just fucking ruin it with jokes. You go to that old school Disney and, all these movies we've spoken about, like, Aladdin with all the stuff with Robin Williams, the Beauty and the Beast with Lumiere, like, and the chef, and the song from Gaston, all these movies, Hercules with the Achilles, the constant jokes about Achilles, and all that sort of stuff. But they slot the comedy in to give that comedic relief without destroying the atmosphere, without destroying the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that filmmakers seem to not be able to do anymore.
Yeah.
I think that part of it's also because they no longer allow the actors to be spontaneous.
Well, not a lot of them.
Well-
Yeah, not a lot of them. What was it? I think it might have been Sonic. I could be wrong. It might have been Sonic, but in Jim Carrey's script, one of his more recent movies, it's literally got Jim Carrey, does Jim Carrey things.
Yep.
That was the script.
When
And you saw
when
how it turned out.
when you've earned that level of comedic respect.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the amount of lines that Robin Williams had for the genie that went unused, the amount of lines that many people have had for many Disney characters that have gone unused, because back then in this era, people were allowed to ad lib to a degree.
Yeah.
and they
It's one
kept
of the things.
recording.
Yeah, it's one of the things I didn't like about the live action versions of these things, because they tried to react what was originally ad-libbed in some of the things,
Yeah, I agree.
and it just didn't hit quite right for me.
I agree.
But again, it's that classic Disney, like, have something lighthearted, have something like ultra depressing, like, spoiler alert, but yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm blanking out.
What?
I'm blanking out on names in Lion King. I don't know how that is even a
Mufasa,
fucking...
Scar.
Yeah, Mufasa dying, Simba getting, exiled and, like, or basically putting himself in self-imposed exile. And then, later on Rafiki making jokes but still having a serious tone to him as well. Like,
Rafiki is the childhood Yoda. In my
Yeah,
eyes. It's just
Yeah.
Dear. Cool. Alrighty.
I mean, I love the Simpsons homage to
I remember it very vaguely.
It's the episode with Bleeding Gums Murphy and he dies, and it's like
Yes,
it
yes,
goes
yeah,
through
that's
the
right.
button,
Yes,
it goes
I'm
through
thinking,
the
hang on,
button.
it's there, but who was up there?
So it's
Bleeding
got,
Gums.
so obviously James Earl Jones is doing Bleeding Gums Murphy's voice, and then it has Darth Vader and Mufasa and him as the CNN news.
It essentially has all of the voices he did.
Yeah, all the voices that he's done has him doing that in the
Right,
cloud
then
scene
this
from
is
Lion
CNN.
King.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you did.
Oh, dear.
We're sorry.
Oh, excellent. So for anyone sticking around for the end, viewer wise, your votes will count. You will get to vote, and they will count. But anyway, moving on. Tegan, you're number 2.
My number 2, it's an older one, so it's not sort of... Because when you say modern, to me, Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, they're modern, right?
We're old.
Because I'm old as shit. But this one was an older one, and it doesn't hit the same classic Disney tropes. It's a little out there, it's a little to the left field, and it is Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
I loved it. As a kid, it confused me. I didn't really understand a lot of it. To me, it was just, a fun
That's because
story.
they kept close to the book, and the book was confusing as hell.
Yeah, so as a kid, you don't get it. But looking back now, and when we were asked to come up with this list, and I didn't want to just go straight for Little Mermaid, Lion King, Aladdin, because I knew that a lot of those would be taken. I needed to have my favourite, which is Beauty and the Beast. But I really sat there and I thought about it, and I thought, what movies from that classic Disney era had a massive impact on me? And Alice in Wonderland really did, because it got me to think, and it actually opened up dialogue between me and my parents, I remember, because it wasn't just a movie force-fed down my throat to just consume. I had to ask questions to understand it. And I remember my dad and I very fondly having a conversation about the story of the oysters, the guys that go and get the oysters. And because I didn't understand it, I said, I don't understand it. What's happened? Like, because, I'm only little. So to me, it sort of crossed the barriers of... I felt like watching it when I was younger, and then again when I was a little bit older and now as an adult, it actually really respected children. And back in early Disney days, the world did not respect children to be intelligent enough to consume content like that. You just have to put, we had to upgrade the Grimm fairy tales because we can't give children reality. We have to sugarcoat everything. We can't say that Hera was Hercules' stepmother and actually was trying to kill him. We've got to sugarcoat it. We've got to change it. Whereas Alice in Wonderland, I felt like didn't do that. It really respected children's intelligence. So as an early childhood educator, for a massive part of my career, I really value that side. But I also just love, obviously Disney didn't write it, but the fact that I think they did the original really, really well, good credit, and turned it into this just fantastical little journey. So it's quite a nostalgic thing, especially for me, but I think it's relevant today. I think kids today could sit down and watch it and get the same benefit. There's no, okay, people might have a problem with the drug use, but there's none of that, richness about it. It is just genuine fun for the sake of fun. Like, why does it, I love what you said before, Kami, about things being important, and this is the message that you need to give. But the message I got from Alice in Wonderland is open a book and you will fall into a beautiful world. And that's why it's my number 2.
See, look, again, I do everything I can to stay away from politics in these streams.
I know, and I keep bringing them up. I'm sorry.
No. I say this to preface what I'm about to say. And that's because, and I've just forgotten it. Oh, I love Eddie H2. It's gone.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Mitch, I feel like you had something to say while I try and go fishing in my own mind here.
Even the visuals of that still hold up to today.
Yeah.
The flowers that talked at the start, the caterpillar. Everyone, even if they don't know the movie anymore, knows the Cheshire Cat.
Oh, the Cheshire Cat.
That grin as it fades away. Yeah. But no, sorry, what I was going to say, because I don't want to forget, I'm sorry, is, and this is the most political I'm going to get tonight, and that is people complaining about the imagery of these movies or the messaging are adults. Right?
Yes.
Naturally, right? Because you're going to have kids on social media, and I get the implication of that. But as kids, fun enough, we were once kids who watched these movies as kids.
Yep.
We didn't get any of that the messaging that people are complaining about.
No.
Yeah.
Kids don't get that messaging. Kids see what we're talking about now.
Kids
That's all I'm going to say.
Kids get that messaging more from their physical environments they live in, not from what they see on TV.
Yep.
That's a fact. And I'm sorry, I'm educated in the field. That is a fact.
Yeah. As a kid, I saw Beauty and the Beast as loving someone for who they are. I saw Aladdin for you don't need to pretend to be someone else to get to where you want to be. That's the messaging I was taking from a lot of these movies. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, agreed.
Mitch, sorry, I cut you off halfway.
It's okay. I was just saying that the imagery itself in the movie was so fantastical, but they managed to make every part of it actually make sense in that world.
Yes.
And I feel that like Tegan got her thing out of it. I always got the mentality of Alice in Wonderland. It was an exercise in insanity, showing that the people who see the world differently aren't always wrong.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Well, again, that's the thing. All the characters in it are so...
What a powerful message.
So over the top, but they're all... Again, they're different, but they're not bad. Like, whether it's a Mad Hatter, whether it's the, the Cheshire Cat, like, even
the March Hare.
Pardon?
The March Hare.
Yeah, the hair, like, everybody, like...
Well, again, like going back to something that I've mentioned for The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, right? This to me was another one of those that loosely fit into that same category. However, the big difference was whenever I walked through our lounge room and my sister was watching one of those prior to, I just keep walking.
Yeah.
If Alice in Wonderland was on, for some reason I would sit down and start watching it. It was just that little bit different. It wasn't a
girl movie. It wasn't a romance movie. That's why.
Yeah, there were so many different aspects. There were so many different parts of the world, and my brain just went, "Oh, this is interesting. I'm going to watch this." And for some reason, I would just sit down and watch it every time. Yeah. I'd never actively go out of my way to watch it, But if it was already on, I'd sit down and watch it.
ADHD in a movie.
Shut
My
up.
biggest takeaway from about 16 to 17 years ago from that movie though is drugs are awesome, and that was my takeaway.
Oh dear. Anyway,
Maybe reduce it to the most baseless form. Yeah, that would be your takeaway.
I
not a
defended him
compliment.
against a comment he made before the stream started. I'm starting to regret this. Mitch, what is your number 2? What's the one that you were tossing up between?
Did I flip the coin with?
Yeah.
My number 2, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Ah, yeah, nice.
It has literally, in my view, the best villain song you'll find in a Disney movie.
Oh, that's a big call,
That's a
bitch.
big call. I've only watched this movie once, and I've only watched it once because I didn't like it. But
Ooh.
please tell me more.
It has. It sets up the bad guy perfectly to show his motives, show why he believes he's the good guy, and just
bad guy.
yeah, just literally the moments of Hellfire and the Bells of Notre Dame set up everything. I still get chills when I listen to Hellfire. And
I mean, that's the thing with so the main villain song I'm thinking of in comparison is Gaston's song, and
I was thinking something different again. I was thinking of Be Prepared.
that's fair as well. Like, no, like again, the same thing with Gaston though. Like, he doesn't see himself as evil. Like, he's not. Everyone else in the village sees him as a good guy, as a hero who's going to go save this girl from this horrible beast. Like, it's.
Yeah, in terms of comparison for that aspect, yeah, Gaston is good. The reason I jumped to Be Prepared was when Mitch said it showcases exactly who this person is, what they're doing, what their motives are, all that kind of stuff. And well, Be Prepared does that very well.
A lot of them do, but I understand what Mitch is saying. It is slightly different because it's not, as a kid, a lot of kids don't. The imagery was quite intimidating. I remember watching that, and that scene did scare me when I was a bit younger. So whereas Be Prepared didn't, because it still had that child safety sphere around it, whereas Hellfire
had the fact that it was animals doing it, not people.
Yeah, Hellfire just gets rid of that child safety fear, and he is a bad man.
Yeah, but that's part of what made me love it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a damn good scene.
But yeah.
That's the thing, you should be scared of the bad guy. Like, the bad guy is meant to be the big, scary monster. Like,
yeah, but he scares me even now as an adult.
Yeah.
That's fair, but like...
Actually, he probably scares me more now as an adult.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you look at the old school Disney villains, like, it's exactly as you said, and, like, the big face with the little curly mustache, like, facial hair, evil, like...
Fat, overweight, evil, same thing.
Yeah, like the character I'm talking about in that, just so you know, is named Frollo.
Yep.
He is, it literally perfectly sets up everything about him. Right?
Peter Hollins covers one of his songs, Kami. Covers that song. Peter Hollins does a cover of that song that Rem's talking about. If you're not familiar.
I'll need to look it up.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I don't remember enough of it because I've only watched it the one time, and it was a long time ago. I don't remember enough to combat Mitch on this.
Yeah.
All I remember was...
You don't need to. He's not wrong. It's excellent.
Yeah.
All I remember was it didn't hit chords with me on a personal level. It didn't reach out to me. I just didn't enjoy it.
What, the whole movie?
Pretty much, from what I can recall.
One of the things I loved is the fact that the gargoyles on the building.
They were fantastic.
else ever actually saw them move.
Yeah.
So right the way through, you weren't sure if he'd gone insane from lack of contact or if they were actually magical in some way.
Yeah. I only picked up on that as an adult, though.
I barely remember seeing it as a kid. Like, does anyone know what year it came out?
97?
Yeah. So I was starting to get past the age of Disney movies and, trying to be, so really,
You were
realistically,
trying to be a grown-up.
yeah, I was starting to try and become back, teenager, and, I don't do Disney movies anymore, and, the stupid things that we say to ourselves when we are teenagers. Yeah. I'm too cool to watch Disney movies now.
I never said that my entire life. I've always loved Disney.
Me too. But,
More acceptable for me because I'm a girl.
Yep, absolutely. Girls were allowed to watch Disney and love Disney, and even all through high school, girls still had the Disney backpacks and the Disney stuff. It was not okay for a guy to have that.
Man, I was getting teased in year 6 for still liking Pokemon. I was 11 and getting teased for liking Pokemon. Guys suck.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I tended to ignore all of that, which is why I think we end up still being friends in high school.
Yeah.
When they essentially just did bad stuff, and I went, "Yeah, I'm going with him."
I tell everybody to, as they start getting older, try and get your teenagers to become metalheads, because then they can love whatever the fuck they want to love. Like, I watched a clip today of, like, a thrash pit, and they're, like, doing the building up the wall of death, and there's a dude in a fucking inflatable Pikachu costume. In a massive metal pit, like, because metalheads do not give a fuck, like, the literal commonality with any other metalhead in the world out there for me is that I also like metal music, and that is it. Like, there's no like, oh, well, you're not a real metalhead because you like fucking Pokemon. There's none of that bullshit. It's just
yeah. Dear. Anyway, so we're a tiny bit ahead of time, which is excellent. So we can spread out the next couple a bit more if you wanted to. But Matt, what's your potentially your last bring to the table before we start debating what the top 5 are going to be?
My last one that I had on my list, I believe, was Robin Hood, the Disney animated Robin Hood, where he was.
Are you sure?
Huh? That was what I had on my list.
I mean, you can bring that in if you want. I can bring that as a wild card later if you want, but that's not the last one you wanted me to. You wanted me to swap that with something.
Oh no, that's right, Tarzan. That's right, I swapped it at last second. I fucking love Tarzan. Again, it's not a Disney original. It's an old story. It's an old thing. But I fucking love how Disney did it. They did a fantastic job. Even early on, it's the love story, but it's a different type of love. It's obviously later on in the movie, it's all about Tarzan and Jane, but early on, it's about the mother's love for their children. Like, even though it's not her child, like, I love that movie. And again, the music, the characters, every character in there has a place. Like, Jane is, like, the way that they portray Jane as well. The whole thing, brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
And we used to sing the one of the songs from it to our kids when they were upset. So
you'll be in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here I was hoping you start getting all the pots and pans out. The kids start whacking them whenever the kids are upset.
Tarzan came out when I was a bit older because obviously I'm older than all of you. I was in late high school, I think, when it came out. So I've kind of beyond that going to see Disney movies and stuff at the movies, but that portrayal of Tarzan I thought was done really, really well. Every single time I see it, and I see it quite a bit, I will always cry in that movie when his parents. Every single time I will be choked up. It doesn't matter. When I see that damn jaguar in that goddamn net at the end fighting his mother gorilla, same thing. I just get this choked up. And it only got worse the older I got. And then when I had my own kids, I just fucking bawl. I just bawl. But again, one of the things I love about it is it's fantastical fantasy without the element of magic, and the bad guy is just a dude.
Yeah.
Come
I
on,
know
man.
it's pretty magical how he swung on those vines without his hands.
They went down a different route with the music as well. They went down a different route with the music, not having. It's not a musical, but the characters weren't doing a lot of the singing. It was Phil Collins just going, "I'm going to do everything."
Yeah.
And that was it was, as you said, the emotion was dialed up to 11. It was brilliant from start to finish, and as a kid you got sucked right into that fantasy world that was not that much. I'm not thinking English very well.
English.
As you said, there was no magic involved. There was no actual quote unquote fantasy. It was just another story, and it was just so well written and portrayed. But then looking back at it as an adult, right? This is one of the movies which people just can't complain about. Looking back at that, there's nothing to pull strings at, really, because it's got the perfect example of the contrast of both toxic and positive masculinity in the same movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you compare it to, okay, so if you want to compare apples and apples, think of the Jungle Book, right?
Yep.
As a kid, I loved the Jungle Book, but as an adult, I find it a little bit juvenile to watch back now. It's a bit. The story doesn't flow great. You know, it's not as enjoyable.
It is also one of the very early movies.
Oh, absolutely. But as a kid, it had it had the kid safety sphere, is what it is. As an adult, I go back and I watch the Jungle Book and I have a chuckle at the orangutans and, you know, obviously Baloo and that. And the characters are quite intrinsically special to me, nostalgically. But I don't sit here and watch the Jungle Book as an adult because I enjoy it. I watch it because I want my kids to enjoy it the same way I did as a kid. I will sit here and watch Tarzan on my own because I want to watch Tarzan on my own. And you're comparing the same thing. It made every kid want to grow up with animals. It's what, you know, both of those movies are basically about. But Tarzan, I think, just did it better.
Oh, any final comments?
Phil
I'll admit it was rather good for me as well because my old man is actually adopted. So it was a very open way to show that family is family, blood or not.
Yeah. Yep. Disney, right in the feels.
Yeah. Right in the feels. All right. So the last one I'm going to bring to the table as one that I'm physically bringing myself before I go into potential wild cards. Now that you've all talked shit about it, the Jungle Book.
I did it.
God, what a shit movie! Like,
Fuck all of you.
I wasn't talking shit about it.
So cold.
I actually like the Jungle Book.
I was.
Well, just listen to me. Just trust in me.
Fuck off. But look, I was tossing up to a degree between this and what was my number 4, which someone else has picked up since we reduced the number, so I wasn't really fussed. But after thinking about it for a while, the gap between them went from next to nothing to just miles. And the argument in my head was rewatchability versus nostalgia and emotional attachment. And for me, the nostalgia and emotional attachment won.
Great.
The movie that it was combating against in my head has not been said yet, so I won't say what it was. But but it is coming up.
I will freely admit
it is coming up. Yes, but no. So the nostalgia of this movie again. This was another movie that I had almost on repeat. And it's one that I never owned when I was younger. So when I had it on repeat, it was literally at a friend's place, like Mitch or my neighbor when I was younger. We'd sit there and we'd play games that we'd be playing Pokemon or something with Jungle Book on in the background on repeat. And the most annoying part of this whole process was not the fact it was on repeat and we've just heard Baloo talk about the bare necessities 50 times. No, it was when in the middle of a Pokemon battle, the Elite Four or something, and we hear this click. Mitch, we gotta rewind the tape.
Kids these days won't understand. Half your viewers won't understand.
You had to get up, put the Game Boy down. That's hard as it is. Physically stand up, walk to the other side of the room, press the rewind button on the VHS, like on the videotape thing, and it would rewind the
And
tape.
then that's the thing. So, like, think scrolling back through a YouTube video, you had to do that for a 2-hour movie.
And it would
Like,
take 10
you
minutes.
It's not like a DVD or a Blu-ray where you're just like, play from start. Oh, look, it's done, it's instant. Or go back 10 chapters. Oh, look, it's instant.
Ah.
You have to sit there and watch it go backwards. Granted, probably 5 to 10 times speed, depending on the VHS player you had. But you had to watch that movie backwards. And then it got all the way back to the start. And then you could watch it again.
Are you both done with your old man rant?
I had to walk 5 kilometers to school each day, uphill, both through the snow.
Ram tried to say like 3 things and couldn't. So Ram, please talk.
Go on.
I have completely lost what I was going to say at this point because it's gone off on such a random tangent.
What I was saying was we're watching it on repeat at your place all the time, as well as my neighbor's place.
Yeah, I believe that once or twice we'd even, when it was done playing, take the video out to rewind in the other VHS player that was in the other room while we were doing something like the Emperor's New Groove or something like that.
I think we might have at one point.
Yeah.
No, man, I think was it Emperor's New Groove? I don't know. It was before. I think it might have actually been Hercules at one point that we'd swap it out. Anyway, irrelevant. But yeah, we'd have two VHSs going.
Because we had to.
Yep.
Jungle Book. Jungle Book is a classic. It's up there, but it's up there in a more, like I said before, you say classic Disney, you think Lion King. It's like the ultimate
classic. Like this is Silver Age classic.
Snow White, Bambi, Jungle Book. Those three are like the core 3 Disney classic movies.
Yep.
I remember watching it a lot as a kid now that you mentioned it, but it didn't even pop up when I was thinking about Disney movies for me. Like, yeah, it wasn't
Fair
even
enough.
close to being on my list for Disney movies.
Everyone had their own things that just clicked for them.
Yeah.
But also depended on your parents' influence as well.
Oh, yeah. Like, as I said before, my number one was literally number one because nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nostalgia's
Yeah.
powerful, bitch.
We freely admit it is B-grade movie kind of thing.
Yep.
But nostalgia won.
Nostalgia is powerful. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to say before.
Yeah.
When you were commenting on nostalgia.
Yeah, enough fair.
I remembered eventually.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Jungle Book because again for me the story, look, watching it now, the story doesn't flow too well because it just jumped from scene to scene, as a lot of the old ones do back then. Cinderella, Snow White, even Alice in Wonderland to a degree. They all just jump from scene to scene, and they don't flow as well as some of the more modern ones we've been talking about, such as Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Aladdin. They don't flow as well.
Back then, I believe that they were still very much learning what can and can't be in the animated versions, taking it from the book.
Yep.
And because it was still very much based on the book, like even with the Alice in Wonderland, how we had stated, just it's amazing how close they kept.
Yeah. It was good, but
the issue behind that is the fact that it did have the choppiness because you would get to an end of a chapter and it would cut it off to start the next chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, the journey from start to finish, the songs, and for me as a child, I needed to a degree that segregation. Like for me, at certain points in my childhood, I needed that segregation in the story. So when it went from, King Louis, it chopped pretty hard into their escape, which then chopped pretty hard into him wandering about in an open field where he meets the vultures, right?
Yeah.
well, not well. They end up in the field, but and it was just telling me, oh, it's at this part of the story, and in my head, I needed that. Whereas I find myself today, even right, going or getting towards the end of a movie, I'm thinking, surely we're at the end now, right? It feels like we're probably near the end. Whereas I never needed that for the Jungle Book, and it gave that illusion as well that there's a lot more in the story than there actually is because it goes bang, 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 right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Whereas if you look at something more modern, like real modern, such as Encanto, for example, it's just one. It feels to me like one big thing, and it goes, cool. We've taken what could have been 20 minutes of an old classic movie and made it a full-length movie for you. I'm not gonna. I'll leave it there, but I could say that about almost any modern Disney movie. It feels like it could have been this length, but now it's there.
Don't criticize Encanto. That movie
No,
was sick.
The other thing about the Jungle Book is movies back then, they were shorter. So you're absolutely right. They did have to scene jump a lot more than they do now because you've got the luxury of time and then Disney turning everything into a movie series. But it was the characters for me. So even I didn't watch it as much as you guys did as a kid because we never actually owned it. I could only watch it at my cousin's house.
I didn't own it either, but I found ways.
Yeah, but I didn't watch it as much. But as an adult, even if I hadn't seen it for, say, 15 years, I knew who Baloo was. I knew who Shere Khan was. I knew Bagheera. I knew Kaa. I knew Mowgli. I knew King Louie. I knew all of these characters because the way they're presented, they just bore into your soul.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll stop talking about that. Sorry.
Hey, right, Mitch, you going to say something?
No. Once again, brain went.
Yeah, fair.
Sorry.
Alrighty. Well, with that, Tegan.
Hello.
The last one you're bringing to the Tegan, to the table.
How
The
are
last
you?
one you're bringing to the Tegan.
I know. Tegan, the last one you're bringing to the table, please.
So this is one that a lot of people might not be as familiar with, but it was an absolute staple, and it is actually a sequel, not the first one.
Correct.
Yes, both of them.
Very rare for back then, honestly.
Yes, it is. It is.
Especially for Disney, with Walt himself.
That's what I
being
meant.
Adamantly against sequels.
Yeah. Well, the original came out like in the 70s. So the original movie came out before I was born. I'm not sure when this one actually came out, but it is The Rescuers Down Under.
Rescuers
Down
was
Under.
very good.
Rescuers was awesome, right?
I'm saying in general, all of the stuff they did, fucking good.
I saw Rescuers Down Under first, so I didn't see The Rescuers until afterwards. I didn't know it was a sequel as a kid, I think my dad bought it at like a clearance sale or something at Kmart when I was a kid. This is a movie.
Garage sale somewhere.
Possibly. Actually, you know what? Knowing my father, trash and treasure. As a kid, I had this movie on repeat. I used to watch it all the time. I used to mimic it. I used to play it. What I loved about it, apart from the obvious that, I'm Australian and having something that I could relate to, because those things were familiar to me. The animals were familiar. There was a lot of familiarity for me to hold on to, because when you're a non-American child watching Disney, even when it's set in France or in Agrabah or, in the jungles of Africa, it's still very American, okay?
You see the things like the squirrels and going, what the hell's that rat thing?
You look at the adults and the way they're portrayed in Rescuers Down Under, and it was more common to the adults in my world than any other adult, in any other Disney movie. The other thing I loved about it, for those who've watched the stream before, you might have heard, I do have anxiety. I'm a bit of a sook. I don't go on roller coaster rides. I don't go on all of the things. Most Disney movies, the main protagonists are like, fuck yes, let's jump on the magic carpet and go for a ride. He was scared of everything. He was always so scared of everything. And she was like, no, this is great. So not only the gender reversal where she's not the damsel in distress, he is, but the fact that there was a character as a main character who was nervous about life, I found that very relatable.
Yeah. And it makes much more sense to me hearing you say that specifically the Rescuers Down Under rather than the original Rescuers, because
Yes.
you were saying how dark and scary Hunchback of Notre Dame was.
Yes.
The original Rescuers
Yes.
blows that out of the water.
Yes. Oh, does it?
I
It
say, I felt like it'd be pretty close.
excessively dark stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. It did. It did. It did.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I've seen Rescuers Down Under, in my adulthood. I haven't seen the Rescuers, I don't think, since I was like a teenager. So it's been a while. The other thing that I loved about Rescuers Down Under, and this is very much a personal Tegan thing. So being my father's daughter, I've always been an animal advocate. And, they're fighting poachers. So come on, as if I'm not on board.
I feel like every Australian movie is fighting poachers. Look at the Steve Owen movie, for example.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Good. It's just anyway. Moving on. Yes. Cool. Okay.
Did anyone not like it, or has anyone here not seen it?
It has been a
It's
very
not a-
long time. I remember the basics. It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
I can't remember the plot too well.
Thought long ago, I only remember the basics of it, but I do remember that the original, it was scary as shit.
I remember that feeling. I don't remember too much about it. I remember definitely the whole but
Yeah,
I
it was one of those ones that they didn't hold back on a scene, which is a great thing. Not great when you're watching it when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
I annoyingly remember this more than I remember the movie itself. It was a movie that I never got to see too early on, and when I found out about it, I think I just finished watching the first one, and I really wanted to watch this one, and I couldn't find it anywhere. My parents couldn't find it anywhere, and eventually, long story short, every year, close friends of my parents would alternate between Boxing Day and New Year's Day as to whether we'd visit them or they'd visit us.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
They had 3 kids, 2 of which were at my age or older. And long story short, we're at their place one year, and I saw the VHS on their shelf. I spent half the day pleading them to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I saw that fucking movie. But yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that more than I remember the movie itself. I just really wanted to watch that movie.
It's funny though, like I remember how special it was to get a new movie or to get a VHS or even going to the video store on a Friday night to like hire a movie for the week.
Yes.
All that sort of stuff. That was like the fucking best. Whereas now I'm like, I haven't seen this movie in 20 years, but I randomly as fuck want to watch it.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah. Oh, trust me, I did that myself. Honestly, looking back to random stuff that I've downloaded to watch offline at random points.
Yep.
Because I'm currently between internet providers because my previous one was evil as all hell and made it harder for the next one to connect up, but that's another story. But because of that, I'm going through all of the random movies that I've got on my computer, and I fell upon a gem of the ultimate B movies. I watched through the entirety of Tremors.
Oh. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a
It
new
just-
ultimate B-grade movie now, but I'll talk about that later.
Oh. Fair enough.
I swear, if you're talking about that bloody bear again,
It's a bear! The bear gets cooked up and goes and eats people. It's fucking great!
It can't be better than B-grade snakes on a plane.
oh my god, don't stop. Okay, so moving forward,
We need to do a stream just on B-grade movies.
oh,
Evil that.
I hate B grade. Anyway, moving forward.
We might have to come
Sharknado.
on the stream.
No! Mitch gave me a freaking book once, or showed me a book, which was
Yeah.
this thick. How to survive a Sharknado.
I just want to say the person who wrote and pitched Sharknado, like the
We are way off topic here.
Yes,
Can we
we are.
backtrack and get
Okay.
back on the line?
So,
I
Mitch,
believe we're up to you for your last.
the last
third
one you're
tip.
bringing to the table, Mitch.
Well, no, maybe I should put Sharknado. No,
I'm gonna hurt you.
I would get disconnected so fast.
Yep.
But yeah, my number 3 is Mulan.
Oh, all right, okay.
That's the thing. I know that it didn't hit home for a lot of people because it was very much a lot less of the Disney feel for a Disney movie. It
I
still had
absolutely loved it.
still had songs
never
and stuff
seen
in it.
This is the movie that I was tossing up with between it and the Jungle Book. This is the one.
Okay.
But yeah, it just had far too many smart moments in it. Parts that called back to other parts in the movie that actually worked, and it didn't really have any proper, it didn't have any unresolved Chekhov's guns, which got me a lot in the earlier stuff because back when I was a kid, I was a lot more autistic acting than I am now.
Yeah.
So back then, if something foreshadowed something and never paid off, I'd literally go searching for a sequel or something to see if they ever, touched on it, which of course they didn't, but it would just screw with me. But Mulan, it literally closed everything that it opened up, which was very good. It had great characters to it. It absolutely bucked stereotypes. And yeah, I honestly cannot think of a bad thing to say about it. Right?
I don't have any kind of connection with Mulan whatsoever.
Which,
And I'm pretty sure that's because when it comes down to it, fundamentally my parents were quite racist. And I never got the opportunity to watch it. But again, it came out late 90s and I was sort of already a teenager. So again, beyond going to the movies to watch Disney and stuff, but it didn't resonate with me. I don't actually think I've seen it all the way through, if I'm being honest. I've seen parts of it.
yeah, well, everyone's seen, the Be a Man song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a man.
I'll make a man out of you.
Yeah, I'll make a man. Sorry, I was thinking of the chorus. But yeah, everyone's seen that.
There's so many great one-liners in that movie, which
Eddie
they
Murphy,
slot in
Mushu.
very well. And it just right at the near the end when Milana asks Dude McFace to stay for dinner, and the grandma yells out from a distance, "Would you like to stay forever?" I mean, just little things like that. It's just, I quote to this day, "Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow." To everyone at work, everyone everywhere, all the time. It's just
Everyone in your entire life, dude.
yeah, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, it is. I absolutely love this movie.
I will say I have attempted to watch it. Like I remember putting it on for both my kids when they were a bit younger to sit, and no, neither of them were interested.
That's fair.
I've never watched it. To this day, I've still never watched it.
I recommend it, but then again, it definitely, as Mitch said, it didn't really hit with a large number of people. It was very much not on the same track as a lot of previous Disney movies. It was a very large shift in their storytelling.
There's a large shift. I felt that it was portrayed a lot more seriously than a lot of the other Disney movies. Like it had the comedic relief character, but it did have a lot more serious moments to it.
Well, even in the opening scene, or close to it, where they've got the Huns have captured 2 scouts, and they start riding away, and
they ask how many do we need to deliver.
how many does it take to deliver a message? As the guy draws a bow back, just smiles and says 1. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very much the moment of, oh, it's this type of movie.
No, I really enjoyed it. Absolutely,
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
And the Who I Am Inside song.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Kamilian.
Oh, it hit all the right notes for me, honestly.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But moving forward, because it's pretty much just the 2 of us which have seen the movie in full. I think we've got time for some wild cards.
Ooh.
So, unless there's something not already on the list people would like me to call out, I'm gonna start going through the list. Is there anything that
The only thing I want to call out, and you ruined it by saying animated, is the original Star Wars trilogy.
that wasn't made by Disney? It's owned by Disney, but it's not Disney.
That's it. I'm done. I'm good. I'm happy now. I've had my chance.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So wild cards. Moving forward, then first one I want to bring up is one that didn't quite make someone's list, but came damn close, as we found that earlier, and that was Robin Hood.
Yep.
It was fun. It's a fun movie, and that's sort of the big thing for it. Is it's not trying to be super serious. It's not, but it's a bit of an homage to the an old story, an old tale. Like,
I can definitely see that.
It's fun, and whenever I play it, because I watched it numerous times when we were in lockdown, I'd be either working, writing up some training documents, or just doing some research, and just having that on the TV literally right beside me here. And whenever I put it on, I always forget how musical it is, like how many songs are actually in it.
It's old school Disney, man. Like,
Yeah.
But it is so good. Love it. I used to watch it at. Again, sorry, I never owned it myself, but my nan did, and it would be my go-to movie on repeat at nan's all the time, the time.
Yeah, I haven't watched it as an adult. Like, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I definitely remember, just the visuals of it as a kid. Like, that was the one for me. Just the visuals of, old school Robin Hood. Like,
Yeah.
portrayed as a good guy. Like, that's the thing. Everything modern for Robin Hood, he's portrayed as like that gritty. It's very dark. It's very gritty, and obviously, especially we're talking, real life stuff. I mean, obviously, there's one exception to that around Robin Hood movies, but let's. It's not owned by Disney, as far as I know, so let's skip over that one. But
that's probably the one that I actually screwed up Ian's mentality with, because he could speak in an English accent.
Yes.
I watched that. I can't remember.
I love that movie.
It is
but it was
fantastic.
On TV, wasn't it?
And I was my mum came out and yelled at me because she'd gone to bed. My mum came out and yelled at me because I was laughing so fucking loud the first time I watched Men in Tights. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It is good. It is good.
I could quote that movie like until I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, you lost your arms in battle.
But you grew some nice boobs. Yeah.
I have a mole.
Yeah.
Not that bad. I'm on one side. I'm on the other side. I'm on the east bank. I'm on the west bank.
Wait, you changed it to latrine? Yeah, it used to be shithouse.
Good change.
Alright, so regardless of the rest of the stream, we're going to go watch that movie in bed, alright?
Yes.
They've taken the castle. I thought it got a bit drafty.
Poor locksmith.
Blinking! Just blinking, there's a hole. Anyway, sorry.
Watch my back. You just got hit. You just got hit again.
Dear.
How'd
So
you do that?
the second
I could hear
wild
it coming
card.
in my-
The second wild card, just to cut everyone off, is arguably, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, our first Pixar movie, which falls into the Disney category.
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Look, Toy Story was epic. It was an epic movie. They released it well. Again, I was a little bit older. I remember we were babysitting my neighbor and he really wanted to go and see it. So I kind of was dragged along for the ride. It was clever. It was very, very funny. And it was a new style of storytelling for them. Again, moving away from the tropes of the romance and the blah, blah, blah. And there's a reason there are how many sequels now?
Sorry,
There's a fifth one being made.
Yeah, Toy Story.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was clever. And the reason I think that movie did so well is wholly due to the personality of some of the voice actors, especially Tim Allen.
Yeah.
His delivery of Buzz Lightyear is just second to none. Don't get me wrong. Tom Hanks did. Was it Tom Hanks? Yeah, Tom Hanks did a great job with Woody. But for me, Tim Allen made that movie.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again,
So-
it landed all the big things. That every character in there had a strong character. There wasn't filler characters. Like, it comes back to the same thing. Like, you think about Lion King. Yes, there's a lot of filler characters in there, but they don't feel like filler characters. It's still got so much character. Like,
They've got so much depth.
yeah, depth.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a word. Like,
It has, for me, gone off track though.
I mean, look, at this point, it is just they're just punching stuff out to catch rabbits.
It is. Yeah, it's. I can't remember which one it is, but the one with the spoon. I haven't seen the spork. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
Number 4.
Terrible.
Number 4. So 1, 2, and 3, I think were legitimately really good movies. All 3 of them. But as soon as I saw the trailer for that one, because they had wrapped it up so beautifully,
Started.
right?
Anyone who says they didn't cry at the end of 3 is a fucking liar.
Halfway through 3, even I was crying.
Yeah.
I had a singular tear come down my right cheek. I remember it clear as day when they were going down into the furnace.
Oh
Yeah.
Christ!
I
Yeah,
lost
mate.
count when Andy was handing them over.
Yeah.
I was
They just
bawling.
didn't need to go any further, and I'm kind of cranky that they have,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of cranky that they've done it with a homemade toy. Like, to me, that just detracts. It just looks stupid, and I haven't even bothered to watch it.
I've watched it. It was stupid.
You watched it, did you?
Winning there, babe.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Yeah.
watch it. But Toy Story, for its time and for its storytelling, it was groundbreaking. It was absolutely pushing boundaries of children's movies, and it was very, very well done.
Mitch.
Yeah. I liked the characters in number 4. I didn't like the overall what they did with it.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. Also, number 1, not technically a Disney movie. They didn't buy Pixar until 2006.
They still have their logo on the opening credits.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were
See,
done in conjunction with Disney.
See, Kami, that's what I thought. Remember that other movie that I mentioned to you? You said, no, that's not Disney. I'm pretty sure that was the same.
Universal Pictures.
Yeah.
I could be mistaken, but as far as I'm aware, I looked up a couple of different things. I clicked on 4 different links. Nothing. I even typed in, "Is this Disney?" Everyone was saying no.
Which movie?
An American Tale.
Oh yeah.
I always thought
I'm
that was.
pretty sure Universal and
I thought Disney produced it or something. They didn't make it, but they had a hand in it.
Universal and Disney
I-
were
I-
basically
I'll
like,
need to
Google it.
confirm later, but yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
All right, so we've got time
Yeah.
for one more. Tegan, are you on? Actually, Tegan, you're the only one left
What?
with wild
Camera
cards.
off. Sorry, I don't know why my camera was off.
You're the only one with wild cards left. I'm gonna text you the 2 you
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
And you can pick one of them.
Because I have forgotten both of them. So yeah, good job. Oh no, I think I remember one. What's the
So
second?
just tell me the first or the second one. We'll go with that.
Oh,
Is there anyone left with wild cards?
look, I prefer one of them, but I'm not going to pick the one that I actually prefer because same as some of the other ones we've already discussed.
Screw it. Let's just go with both, and I'm gonna wrap. We're gonna get them both done in 4 minutes.
Dumbo.
The Dumbo.
Dumbo's
The first one. Go.
Dumbo, again, I said before, Jungle Book, Bambi, Snow White, Cinderella, and Dumbo. They're your core Disney movies. Dumbo was just for a young kid that loved animals. It was just beautiful. It was done beautiful. It was visually beautiful. We ignore the racism today because we don't want to talk about it. Okay. But it was just a really lovely story. And it was done quite purposefully to showcase the atrocities of the circus and how circus animals were kept. It was actually a bit of a passion project, which makes it even more spectacular for me.
Any other comments on Dumbo?
Awesome movie. Loved it.
Mitch?
Great movie. Had some really heart-wrenching scenes to it, like when the mother taken away from Dumbo and all that. It's just damn.
I absolutely adored it as a child. I don't really care much for it as an adult.
Well, I must admit,
It's fallen
everything
away
I'm
from me a
saying
little
to
bit.
you- Everything I'm saying to you is absolute eye lens because I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I don't even think I ever showed it to my two. Oh, maybe I showed it to Joey.
It's yeah. Look, I remember what I felt like watching it as a kid, and it was glorious. It was a beautiful film, and I'd watch it all the time. Watching it because I watched it before I watched the live action film.
I
And
haven't.
neither of them really hit home with me as an adult.
Yeah,
But
okay.
anyway, that's just again me and my personal taste. The last wild card we're bringing in, which brings us up to total and final 4 wild cards. Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
I love that movie. Oh my god, I love that
I only ever
movie.
saw it as an adult. I never watched it as a kid, or don't remember watching it as a kid.
I
Yeah.
watched it as a kid, but I haven't watched it since, so I don't really remember it too well.
Oh my god, it had everything. It just had everything. And look, people are going to leave this stream thinking I'm some kind of bestiality fiend or something. But seriously, Craig is just a perfect dude, right? Okay? No, he's not. He's terrible. No, I loved it. I loved the additional characters. Matt's talked a lot about these characters having depth and breadth. Being the massive dog lover that I am, the personalities they gave all of the dogs, and not just the main character dogs, the dogs in the shelters, the dogs on the streets as they were walking past, the characteristics of these animals that just it was better than 101 Dalmatians because of the amount of difference they portrayed humanity in their dogs. And I liked the absence of the people, so you saw the people's feet, you saw humans, face like the chef that feeds them at the restaurant and things like that. But for the most part, you're literally in the world from the perspective purely from a dog. Whereas 101 Dalmatians, you had the adults and stuff. It was about them as well.
Yeah. I prefer 101 Dalmatians because they went to the dog's view as a dog, and that's why I enjoyed it. The dogs are barking for this reason. Like they're sending a message to each other about this thing going missing, right? Every animal in there had its own characteristic based on how we saw those animals in 101 Dalmatians, and that's why I enjoyed it as a child. But we're not here to talk about 101 Dalmatians. Lady and the Tramp, I again enjoyed that movie for the exact same reasons you specified. It was focused on the dogs themselves. The story on it is
even the big bad is the dog catcher. You only ever see his legs.
Yeah, it's all done purely from the dog's perspective.
Yeah. And it's really well written, really well portrayed. It's a good movie.
And when the bloodhound gets hit by the carriage, holy wreck!
All right, final comments on Lady and the Tramp.
Awesome movie.
There is no second one.
I don't know what you're talking about. There is no second one.
Exactly.
All
The
right,
first one was-
cool.
First one was epic. Loved it.
So,
Special mention. We
um,
vote now, right?
message me in some way, shape, or form with a yes or no.
Oh, shit.
And once the four of us go through these movies, you, the viewers, can help us vote on finalizing the top 5. However, because I'm really, really small channel, if there is no one here at all, or no one here in the chat that would like to get involved, we will then, amongst the four of us, confirm the top 5. Meaning, if no one wants to get involved and we already have a clear number 1, it will remain number 1, and we'll just break up the ties.
Yeah.
Okay. So, specifically from Matt, Tegan, and Mitch, can I get just a yes or a no for Hercules?
For the top 5? This is too hard.
I'm gonna make this.
You
Really
don't have. Remember, you can if you want vote yes for all of them. This is just a yes or no.
No, I know, but I'm trying to remember all the movies. So it was Hercules, it was Aladdin, Lion King.
You're not limited to 5 votes. Would you put this in a top 5? Yay or nay?
Well, okay, I've answered.
As have I.
Mitch, I'm just waiting on yours.
Beauty and the Beast. What else was there? Alice, Sword in the Stone, Tarzan.
Okay, thank you. So I've included my vote in that as well. Little Mermaid.
I forgot about that one. It's not on my list.
Hang on. I'll post the full list
Right, so I got
into.
it.
I'm gonna post the full list into our stream chat.
Look, I'm doing well with my pencil and my piece.
Really autocorrect.
I know what you were trying to say, Mitch. All right. Hang on, stand by.
Oh, I did forget Mulan.
So.
Okay.
So it's got to be that.
All right. Tarzan.
What was the second one you said? Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. He's picking me first.
Yeah, fair enough.
Aladdin.
Whoever just jumped in, vote yes or no in the chat on each of these movies.
The Lion King. Interesting. The Jungle Book. Beauty and the Beast.
Anybody votes no, Tegan's gonna kill you.
I'm assuming he's laughing at my reply.
I am. Glorious. Alice in Wonderland. Rescuers Down Under. Mulan.
I'm gonna vote on that purely on the fact that I still haven't seen it.
Which totally understandable.
Yep.
Yep.
Sword
I
in the
voted
Stone.
no on mine because I don't think it belongs in the top cumulative 5.
What's that?
I voted no for 1 or 2 of mine because I don't think they.
So did I.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Right.
the cumulative top 5. I don't think they belong.
Sorry, Matt. Did you? I'm gonna flick your notification away. Did you vote for Sword in the Stone?
Yeah, I did. And yes, no.
It's supposed to be anonymous, Matthew.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what the answer is.
So I
Yes,
can flick up
voted
and to
the
see your
last
messages. I
person.
wasn't sure whether that was the latest one or not. All right, cool. A lot of surprising votes here, by the way. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay, so 4 to go. Robin Hood.
Mhm.
That is really interesting. Toy Story.
Mm,
Ads are the worst.
Dumbo. Lady and the Tramp.
I think I voted for 6.
That's fine.
yeah.
You
I
can vote for as
miscounted.
many as you want.
This is us
Okay.
cutting down the
It's just a
list
yes or
bit.
no. You're not.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I may have done that wrong then because I thought we could only vote for 5.
How many
Never
I
mind.
did say you can vote for more than 5.
5.
You did on
I only
reflection.
did 5.
You did on reflection, and I didn't listen. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter.
I did 6.
Do you want me to go through them again?
No. I'm happy with my choices.
Okay. Speak amongst yourselves for the next 2 minutes, just while I tally this up.
So, who watched the Raiders game, and how spectacular was it?
We beat the Dolphins.
I mean, the Dolphins
You
dropped down.
tied, didn't you?
No, we beat
won it in
them.
Golden Point. Fuck you and your
Ian?
ties.
Shush and work out your math.
Yeah, shut your
Yeah,
hole. You're not
math
supposed to be listening.
Well, I looked at the app. It said full time, and it was never mind. It was still
Full-
green.
Full time, 30 all.
Yeah.
We won Golden Point.
Okay. The Dolphins' biggest upset to date is quite embarrassing for them. That was against the Dragons.
They've dropped quite a bit. They're down like 6th or 7th or something on the ladder.
The Dragons are dripping into. We've lost the last 3 or 4 in a row.
But Raiders are pulling their socks up. But bloody hell, it was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I love a nail biter.
Yeah. I'm not much of a sports person, so
I know.
good for you.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of anything else to say.
Alrighty. We have a top 5, a clear top 5. We
All right.
we don't have, but we have a clear top 5. We don't have a clear order.
Okay.
So we have a battle for first and a battle for everything else. Essentially, 2 came back on 4.
Right.
3 came back on 3.
Wow.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do, Kat, you're more than welcome to chime in on this as well if you want.
Yeah. What if there's a tie for first?
We have 2 ties, so anyone in the chat is able to help us vote on this. Essentially, we've just taken 16 movies, and the 4 of us have said yes or no as to whether they should be in the top 5 or not. They were Hercules, Little Mermaid, Tarzan, Aladdin, Lion King, Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland, Rescue Down Under, Mulan, Sword in the Stone, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Robin Hood, Toy Story, Dumbo, and Little Lady and the Tramp. We've come back with the top 5. The top 5 are, in no particular order, for the moment, Hercules, Tarzan, Aladdin, The Lion King, and Beauty and the Beast.
That is a decent list.
That is a very good list.
So, the 2 that tied on 4, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin.
And Aladdin.
I'm surprised that Lion King wasn't in that.
I would have pegged it to be Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and
So
the Beast.
the other three, Hercules, Tarzan, and the Lion King, had 1 no apiece.
Wow.
So what we're going to do now is purely vote.
Oh yeah, I voted no on one of them. Yep.
The
So-
tie for top 2 is Aladdin and
Beauty and the Beast.
So the first one,
Aladdin
and Beauty and the Beast, wasn't it? For
Yeah.
number 1
we're
and 2.
voting for either Beauty and the Beast. So the only vote that's going to be seen, I guess, is going to be Kat. You're going to message me again.
Cat's will be very happy with that vote.
Hooray! Thank you, Kat.
So Kat will pretty much be a determining factor unless there's everyone in the stream is welcome to chat. All of your votes count now. So essentially, Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast. Have at it. Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast.
I've already sent my vote across.
I can see. Thank you.
Oh wait, we have to message you.
Yep, Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast. Alrighty, I'm going to give it 10 more seconds for anyone else in the chat if you want to participate. Either Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast. This is to determine first and second. So results are in. It is 4v1.
Oh.
Who
Who voted for Aladdin?
I did.
Yes.
Fuck you, it is my number 1.
Once again, we all gang up on Kami.
But Beauty and the Beast is a huge resounding win. So now we have to vote for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
So do we just send you the order we think they should go in?
Yeah, let's do that because because if you send me the order, your number 1 pick will get 3 points, then 2, then 1, and I'll do it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the last
Yep.
3 movies again.
So I want you to send me in order from what you think is 3rd, 4th, and 5th out of Hercules. I should type it in the chat as well. So it's Hercules, Tarzan, and the Lion King. In
I've said
order.
it.
Votes.
In order.
In order.
I have also submitted my votes in order.
Okay.
Just done.
So I'm going to have to do some math again.
Math. Doodle-doo-doo-doo.
Alrighty. So have a quick chat amongst yourselves. I'm going to start doing some math.
So, you're going to be watching that Robin Hood Men in Tights again?
Oh, hell yeah.
Just looking at who streams it, I think I have to rent it off Amazon Prime.
I love that movie. Oh my god. I was already in love with Carrie Ellis because of Princess Bride, and then you go and put him in Robin Hood. Hello.
I think he's used Excel or Google Sheets or something already,
Sorry, had to.
Absolutely.
but Hood.
Oh, could be closer than I thought.
Ooh. Close is good. Nail biter.
I'm going to laugh if everyone voted in such a way that they all ended up even.
Don't say that. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me.
Yes.
I'm surprised that Lion King didn't make top 2, honestly.
I'm not.
Okay, now we have an order. We have an order. So, in terms of points, it was 11, 6, and 7. 11, 7, 6, really. On 11 points, based on, if you put this as your number 1, it got 3 points, etc.
Yeah.
With 11 points was The Lion King.
Yeah.
Yep.
With 7
enough.
points, Hercules.
Oh, really?
Wow.
6 was Tarzan. So therefore, in order, Number 1 for us.
Tale as old as time.
Beauty and the Beast. Number 2.
Mhm.
Aladdin.
Wrong.
Number 3.
Spelled beauty wrong.
Lion King.
Thanks, Cat.
Yeah, I misspelt. You know many times I backtracked on that. I hit A twice and anyway, moving on. Lion King, what was it? Hercules before Hercules. Oh my god. Never mind.
Hercules has a C.
Hercules.
You're doing
He's
well.
struggling.
I'm struggling. I'm trying to get it out. Anyway, Tarzan. So
Isn't this
that
a great thing
is
for you to have with your dyslexia?
if life gave you melons instead of lemons, you may have dyslexia. Anyway, yeah. So that is our top 5.
Do you know what? That is a damn good looking top 5.
That is a damn good looking top 5.
Beauty and
Oh,
the
yeah.
Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Hercules, and Tarzan.
Was that
Hercules.
Hercules?
You clearly missed my. Anyway, moving on.
I'm reading it off the fucking chat, man. You put it in there.
I know,
can't
but you
do
missed
that.
me making fun of myself in the Hercules. But anyway, so that is our top 5. We are going to attempt to do this all over again in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
With
Can I say, this has probably been the less contentious one, least amount of contention?
I believe next fortnight's will be a bit more.
Yeah,
Well, that's
probably.
the thing. For this one, even when we didn't agree with each other's things, we could
We still
look
love
at
the
it
movie.
and go,
This is
yeah,
classic
that was a damn
Disney.
good movie.
Everybody loves classic Disney.
See, this is the thing. There is no bad Disney movie. We're going to argue about all the other topics because some of them are shit and your opinions are wrong, Kami. But nothing is ever wrong in Disney.
No, because I know that I really dislike some of your favorite modern Disney movies. Therefore, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing the exact same thing on modern animated Disney movies.
Yeah, that's going to be contentious.
That's where we're going to have some fun.
So that's 2000 plus, right? Year 2000 plus to
Oh,
now.
hang on. Cat's throwing a spanner in here.
It's an
I
awesome
can
movie.
say I think Herc is a bad Disney movie for me. I would love to hear why in the next 5 minutes. Because we're going to wrap up.
This is all opinion.
Sorry, Mitch?
This is all
Everyone's
opinion.
entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, 100%. So 2 weeks from
They're
now,
wrong.
here again on Twitch. For those watching live, jump over to Twitch. I don't have a. I've got a YouTube thing. I don't have Twitch because.
Will it be modern animated Disney 2000 to today, or are we doing modern and then new age?
Oh.
Yeah,
Because
so-
you could actually split it again. There's enough in both.
Yeah, there's nothing 2000 to 2010
Okay,
and
I'm gonna.
2010 to now.
I'm gonna label this as modern. In terms of dates, we will figure it out between now and then. For those watching, but it'll be labeled as modern Disney animated movies. It'll be from the year 2000 to something.
Yeah.
That's going to be 2 weeks from now. Now, for those watching right now, for those watching archived, do you agree with our top 5? Was one of your movies not mentioned at all? Tell us in the comments below. But above all of that, these are just opinions. Like Kat's opinion right here about Hercules. It is boring and honestly it doesn't have a good storyline. So she has an opinion. It is wrong, but it is definitely an opinion. Right? But yeah, all of these, everything we've mentioned tonight.
Not liking Hunchback and Notre Dame. Screw you all.
Absolutely everything. No, it's a terrible movie. Everything we've mentioned tonight is an opinion. So take it as such. We're not saying this is a fact. This is just an opinion. But above all else, thank you for hearing us out. We'll see you all again in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.